Part 3. But Dorian, I'm a Christian and I made vows for better or for worse, richer for poor, sickness and in health, right? So you are holding on to something, staying in something, and you know he or she is out doing the do, possibly bringing stuff home and just out there in the streets doing what they're doing behind your back, but you know about it, even handling the money in ways that are hurting the family. Y'all have to move, things like that, right? But you're holding on to vows that you think God wrote. Y'all better listen to me. Some people, years and years and years, staying in a situation because they believe that that's what God said. As far as the vows, I'm talking about the vows. This person is mentioning the vows. Thomas wrote those vows. A man named Thomas wrote those vows. And it was from the 1500s, medieval times in the mid-England church. A man wrote those. So what you're really tripping on is the fact that you made vows in front of people and in front of, as you say, God. The Bible says to keep your vows. Well, duh, if you tell somebody, hey, tomorrow I'm going to give you $500, you need to keep your word. But are you held accountable for vows and for things that you said years ago that are no longer serving you and God didn't even say? A man wrote those. So sickness and in health. So if he comes home, she comes home and brings you an STI, some of you still say STD, I'm supposed to stick with it because God said in sickness and in health. Oh, there's some sickness, all right. But it's also infidelity. It's also this other stuff. But you're saying because God said it in those vows when he did not. That's all. I'm just making an observation for you. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm saying that you are sticking in something, staying with something because you think you've been programmed. So you're going to be held accountable for a programming. You're going to be held accountable for a programming that's no longer serving you, richer or for poor. What if it's the person that's making you poor? What if it's the person that's making you sick? What if the person is the one that's making you worse? What if that person you're married to is the one that's causing all the negative stuff? You're supposed to stick with it? That's what God is going to hold you accountable to? Just say you like the vows and you agree with them. I mean, they sound great. We would all love to have a partner where that happens and that's a reality. But don't blame God. Don't say you're sticking in a place of suffering, even if it's not compatible, even if there's no abuse, even if there's no, affairs and cheating, even if it's just we are not supposed to be together. We made vows, we made promises based on religion, culture, tradition back in the day, and this is just no longer serving us. All I'm saying is do not blame God for your suffering. So there's 2 more parts before this. And this goes with the video where the guy told me to eat a DICK because I made a video about men and how they lose everything a lot of times in the divorce. And he just went off on me. I made a whole YouTube video about it. And he said, so you just don't care about the marital vows because I divorced my husband. You just don't care about those. Those vows don't mean nothing to you, huh? And I said, no, they don't, because they're man-made. They're man-made, and my ex broke all those vows in the marriage. So why would I hold that to high regard if it was hurting me and my children? Think about that, guys. Pause the video and think, Thomas, who is Thomas? To think for so many years, this guy named Thomas has people stuck in situations because of some words that he said, better for worse, sickness and in health, richer for poor. 6 words have had people bound for years, stuck with people that do not serve them. And the worst part of it is kids are involved and kids are suffering. And I've said before that sometimes it's better for kids to live in a single parent home than it is to live in a broken home. And I'm talking about what I've lived, okay? And my 2 kids, they're both 18 and 19, have their own businesses, thriving in ways they would have never thrived if I had stayed married, especially in the financial department because we were always broke. And I'm just going to, I'm not trying to throw any kind of shade, but we were always broke, getting evicted. And even when we had money, it was being misused. It was a mess financially and could not lead them financially. And that's most important because I'm going to die and leave this earth. And naturally, I'm supposed to go first. My kids will be straight. They're going to be taken care of. They won't have to go live with anybody. They won't have to be looking for anybody for money. They're going to be taken care of because of what I taught them. And that was a fight and a struggle in the marriage. Not only having a third party in there, but money issues. Not agreeing on how to deal with money. If you're smarter in the money area, then you let your partner do that. But anyway, whole other video. Moral of the story is most of us got married based on vows that we didn't even know where they came from. We just assumed that the pastor was saying it, so it's true, it's right. He's reading out of some book, maybe it's a supplement from the Bible, and we just went with it. And it had to be in some kind of Christian textbook somewhere, but we didn't see it, we didn't know it, we didn't read it anywhere, we just went along with it. So nobody's telling you what to do. I'm just making an observation for you since you want to bring in the marital vows. They were not written by God in that Bible. They may have biblical principles of how to treat each other, but you're not held accountable to something that is not true.